subject of greater cooperation between China and Russia. We are joined from our New York studio by RT's Caleb Maupin. Caleb, thanks for being with us. I mean, this economic summit in Vladivostok is taking place, and among there's other people too. There's 1,000 folks, business folks from Chinese, and there's a meeting between Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. So that seems like a pretty significant deal to me. What do you make of it, and what does it portend?
Well, the Eastern Economic Forum is turning out to be very, very promising indeed. Now, we heard an announcement from the Russia Direct Investment Forum. They're actually saying at this point that they've got 73 new projects in the works worth over $100 billion. Now, what's taking place in Russia's Far East and in Central Asia is actually one of the most underreported stories in Western media. When I was in Sochi, Russia, I heard Aysel Toji of the Norwegian Nobel Institute talking about how it's almost a golden era. All across the subcontinent, you see new trains being built, neighborhoods and regions being lit up with electricity, people being brought out of poverty. It's very, very exciting. What Russia is doing with the Eurasian Economic Union and China is doing with the Belt and Road is quite an exciting development. A lot of lives are being rapidly improved. That's what's being discussed at the Eastern Economic Forum.
And Caleb, the cooperation isn't only about, economies and business. Tell us about the largest military exercises since the fall of the Soviet Union, which began today, and China is playing a part in that, right?
Well, those drills are a big deal, but can we back up for just a minute? Because, at this point, Russia has got about 9 overseas military bases. China, they've got only one they just built in Africa, in Djibouti. At this point, the United States has over 800 overseas military bases. Now, at this point, it's pretty clear that a lot of people in Russia and a lot of people in China feel like they're being encircled. You've got an increasing presence of NATO troops and missiles in Eastern Europe. At the same time, you've also got the Asian pivot and an escalation of a U.S. military presence in Asia. And with that going on, we really shouldn't be surprised to see Russia and China strengthening their alliance, not just economically, but militarily, in the face of what many see as kind of an encirclement.
Great. And tell me, Caleb, what is the current military-business relationship with regard to China and Russia?
Well, if you want to talk about the relationship, you have to see it this way, okay? These are two countries that have pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. In the 1990s, Russia was wrecked after the fall of the Soviet Union. The economy was just a mess. And Vladimir Putin came in, and the way he rebooted the economy was by creating 2 gigantic state-controlled corporations, Gazprom and Rosneft. And now Russia's economy has vastly improved as they sell oil and gas around the world. And back in 1949, China used to be called the sick man of Asia, but now half the steel in the world is being produced in a state-controlled steel industry in China. They've also got the biggest telecommunications manufacturer in the world. They're making huge breakthroughs in technology. 700 million people lifted out of poverty. These are two countries, and in a way, they're almost like a match made in heaven. Because on the one hand, China needs lots of oil and gas to run their huge state-controlled apparatus of manufacturing. Meanwhile, Russia has got lots of oil and gas that it needs to sell. So in a way, they just kind of complement each other. It's quite exciting what's going on. You could say that Russia and China, these are two countries that are basically obsessed with growth and reducing poverty around the world. And both of them have huge private sectors, big corporations making lots of profits, lots of business going on. But they also have very active governments that aren't afraid to step in and make sure that the market functions in a way that benefits everyone.
Very interesting and informative as always. RT correspondent Caleb Maupin. Thanks, Caleb.